Welcome in, everybody, to our rundown postseason bracket previews. It's that time of year again. Brandon Wirt, Jack Heckman bringing you the good stuff here, baseball and softball. Jack, we've made it. Episodes in the books. All the anxiety, right? All the anticipation is now finally in front of us. It's time for postseason baseball and softball, and I know the fans are very excited.
Most definitely. It's the best time of year across all sports when you get to that postseason. Do or die here for the guys and girls.
Do or die indeed. Some teams have already played their pre-district games, some of them moving on in the tournament, some unfortunately having their season come to an end. We'll cover that as well as what teams are in a good position with their bracket, the overall draw. We'll go through all the CSAA teams and their respective brackets, all 12 combined baseball and softball. Without further ado, Jack, the people are waiting. Let's get right to it. But first, big thanks goes out to Denny's Muffler and Brakes in Big Rapids on Stage Street. If you need basic car repair, auto repair, no matter what it may be, brakes, struts, muffler, whatever it may be, they can give you the help that you need. Call the number on your screen right now and get in touch with Denny's and go get your car fixed up, especially before the summer months ahead. Let's get right into it. We'll start with the big one, right? Coach Scarpelli and his Cardinals, District 35. This is a big one, right? Division 2 to start off. Cadillac, Chip Hills, and Ludington, all the four teams representing, as you can see the bracket right now. Big Rapids and Cadillac, notably, that's the moneymaker right there. Ludington and Chip Hills, that could be a very competitive game between those two teams. We'll wait and see. Obviously, the records, a little bit disparate, but obviously, Big Rapids and Cadillac, maybe not necessarily the biggest teams as far as win-loss record, but strength of schedule, MPR. Jack, you highlighted especially in the analysis. Those are the two teams to watch. Potential winner out of that first round might be the favorite for the chip.
Yeah, most definitely. I think 100%, without a doubt, we're watching the district championship in the first round. Big Rapids Cadillac, stats wise, numbers wise, how they've played the last couple weeks. The winner of that game, I think, easily wins this District 35. Chip Hills, Ludington. Ludington playing its semi-tough schedule. They are definitely scheduling tougher teams than Central Montcalm, or not Central Montcalm, Chip Hills, I should say. Chip Hills has a nice win percentage this year. Last year they had a nice win percentage. They lost in the district finals last year. But this is a Chip Hills team that's definitely different. They got more wins under their belt. And the winner of that one, I think it's going to be Chip Hills. And then the winner of the Big Rapids Cadillac, that's one's up in the air. The way Big Rapids playing these last couple weeks, it's been a little bit rough, but they're playing great teams. They lost that doubleheader to Mount Pleasant. Last weekend, they split. Got the 9-inning win over Canton, a great win there. Last night they took a rough first loss against Mason County Central, bounced back in game 2 with a 10-0 win. This is a team that Big Rapids really needs a district championship right now. Haven't seen the success district playoff wise in the last couple of seasons, but if this is the year that you want to win it, this has got to be the year. We're going into the season, we're talking about how weak this district may be outside of Big Rapids. Cadillac definitely played really, really good this year. Numbers wise, it's favoring Cadillac. It's hard to say. I want to stay with Big Rapids, but I really do. I think Cadillac's going to come out and win this game. And if they don't, Big Rapids, I think, has a district championship under their belt.
Wow, fuel to the fire. I love it. And it's going to be a very competitive matchup, right? How does Big Rapids hit? I think that's going to be a big crucial thing. I think the pitching will be there. How will they hit? And then on the other side, Chip Hills, what are they going to get out of those star players, right? You're looking at Gage Perkins, you're looking at those top guys in the lineup. How can you produce early against the Ludington team? I think that'll be a key. Moving over to 39, obviously Newaygo and Grant representing the CSAA as well as Tri-County in this district. We already saw the M37 rivalry for what, the fifth time this year already? It's like the storybook script was already in. But Grant takes down the Lions in that M37 rivalry. They have the right to play Sparta, probably the favorite team right now in this district. And then Fremont and Tri-County will battle it out. Even though Fremont, right, is a team that, we're hovering on the 500 mark on the season. We've seen them up, we've seen them down. And Tri-County, they're going to have their hands full probably with that Packer team, not only for how well they've hit some parts of this year, but Fremont is the home team, regardless of numbers. Home field advantage can be important, but right now, Grant against Sparta, very similar. Big Rapids Cadillac, feels like that could be the championship we're looking at.
Yeah, most definitely. Grant earned the right to play with their win last night. The thing with the win last night is 5-0 win. Newaygo didn't have a single earned run, pitching 3 errors in that third inning. All 5 runs scored by Grant in that inning. Rough. Grant moves on though. Like you said, I think we're looking at another situation like Big Rapids Cadillac where we're watching the district championship in the first round. Grant, Sparta, that's gonna be a great matchup. Sparta got a nice win percentage this year. So does Grant though. The strength of schedule favors Sparta, a little bit tougher schedule than Grant. We've talked about Grant's strength of schedule comparative to Newaygo's the last couple of weeks. Sparta's a good ball club. This is District 39 is going to go play District 40, who we saw Whitehall. If you're familiar in the Big Rapids area, you've seen him in every sport. They're all over the place. See him in football the last 3 years. See him in basketball during the regular season, and we saw him last year in baseball in the district first round where they lost, I think it was 7-2. But back to this District 39, Fremont and Tri-County, those are two teams don't sleep on. Like you said, Fremont has that home field advantage. They just get past Tri-County here into the championship versus a Grant versus Sparta team. But who knows, Fremont wins that first game versus Tri-County. You got that championship game. Anything can happen. It's the playoffs. These are some amazing matchups coming in District 39.
Absolutely. I think for Grant, pitching might be a very important thing against that Sparta team, right? Can they play clean? Can they stick with them? That will be the big question mark. Moving over to 71. This is a much different district comparison to what we've seen over the last couple of years overall in this pool of teams, right? You got Harrison and Farwell joining Pine River, Everett, and Reed City, which have been kind of conglomerated for the last couple of years in the area. Reed City gets a win against Farwell, dominant fashion. I think that's exactly what Coach Granis and his team really wanted, right? Obviously, get that momentum right away, make a statement going into the Harrison game. Overall, right now, Everett hosting this year and probably at the best case scenario, right, with some of their fantastic players, Lucas Johnson being one of them. They're going to have their hands full, obviously, in that first round game with Pine River. It might not necessarily be, there's a variance in how well these teams have played this year, but overall, this district is very intriguing because a lot of these teams are kind of hovering around that. They are good teams. Success of consistency has been kind of an issue. So this just might straight up be what bats are hot and what team plays the cleanest that will hoist that trophy in Everett on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, most definitely. Everett, Reed City played each other a couple weeks ago. They split that when Aiden Anderson pitched the first one. It was a gem of a game. Everett was able to win 2-0. And then the second game, Reed City got the bats hot. They won that game 14-4. That's a matchup that Reed City, they won against Farwell, knock them out. Now you move on to Harrison. Harrison, not that great of a ball club. Tough schedule, though, surprisingly. Maybe a little bit of a surprise to some people. They play a tougher schedule than Reed City, who's also a surprise to people that they play such a tough schedule. That should be an interesting matchup. But if Reed City can win that one at a 5-18 record, I don't think there's a 5-18 record with a better chance at winning a district. I mean, you got Everett. That if you get Everett, where they probably save Aiden Anderson, but you played a 1-run game nonetheless, and that's a game that you can flip just like that. 1-run, Reed City can do what they would do with that. But a 5-18 team, we're talking about Reed City and possibly winning a district again.
Absolutely. Going to need the production, especially at the plate. That's going to be a key, especially if you're looking at Everett in a rematch there in the final. Need guys like Caleb Sommers. You need guys like Landon Jackson to step up with the bats. Let's go to 73. Kent City, obviously representing out of the conference in this one. We saw an early exit for Ravenna, the hosts, unfortunately, against a very good Norseman team. I mean, you talk about Whitehall earlier, Jack. North Muskegon, you make the same. It's an athlete factory. No matter what sport, they are competing at that level. So that's going to be a tough game for Montague, right, who's had a really good year from what I've heard from afar. But it's going to be very interesting to see how Kent City fares against a really good Muskegon Western Michigan Christian team. It's a mouthful sometimes to spit out. Overall team, we've seen a little bit about, don't know a lot about. They've won a lot of ball games. They have a pretty decent strength of schedule, very comparison to North Muskegon, not as many wins. So Kent City, I think, especially for how, they've kind of stumbled in this process a little bit this year, especially on the back half, losing a lot of games in a row. This is a nice, good reset, right? Coaches, I'm especially certain that these Eagle coaches going in, it's a 0-0 record going into this postseason. Don't matter what happened, win in advance.
Yeah, most definitely. We just got done talking about that Reed City district. We were talking more of a weaker district with Everett being that top dog in that one. This is a very, very strong Division III bracket we have here. Montague with a great win percentage, a great MPR, a great strength of schedule. Same goes for North Muskegon. Same goes for Muskegon Western Michigan Christian. Those are three teams who are really great, and Kent City, obviously, record-wise and stats-wise, not They're looking at that bottom team besides Ravenna, who's already been knocked out. But Montague, North Muskegon, that's going to be a great matchup in the first round right there. Those are two teams coming from the same part of the mitten. Those are teams that North Muskegon favored on the MPR side, favored on the strength of schedule side, and favored on the record side. But Montague can definitely play some baseball, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. If Kent City can win that one, I mean, we don't know a whole lot about that Western Michigan Christian team, smaller school, obviously in Division III, but there's still 15-9 ball club. Kent City 8-20. If Kent City can get a win there, who knows? A nice little Cinderella win for the Eagles.
We certainly hope to see just that. And very unique here on the other flip side on 74, right? This bracket will be playing the bracket we just previewed in 73. So on the other side of it, I mean, I'll be frank. You look at the numbers, you look at the consistency, you look at the strength of roster, the strength of schedule. I mean, this certainly seems like Central Montcalm's year to keep on moving, right? And that's obviously something they're probably looking at. They got the win against Morley Stanwood, got win one. They need two more to hoist that district crown. Don't look ahead. Obviously, if you're Central Montcalm, these are still good teams that are in their way, right? They're going to play Lakeview. They've played this year. They've had success against Lakeview. I obviously have North Point and Saranac on the other side, teams that have played kind of some of these other teams overall just to get a feel, right? Saranac and Lakeview played not too long ago. So you have obviously a lot of intel for Central Montcalm's sake. I think Lakeview's got a really good chance here. This is the third time around, I believe, these two teams have played. So third time's a charm, this a little bit here. But for Central Montcalm, you have to have the feeling that they know that they are in the driver's seat. You can't look too far ahead, though, and overlook anybody.
Yeah, most definitely. Talking about that Lakeview Central Montcalm game coming up on Saturday. That's going to be an interesting matchup. You said third time's a charm. We've seen it all season long across baseball and softball, how hard it is to beat a team three times. And that's definitely something you're going to see. But like you said, driver's seat Central Montcalm, you can't look so far ahead as a player, as a coach, but as a fan, that's something you love to do. Looking at District 73, we just talked about, whoever comes out of that, and if Central Montcalm's able to come out of that, that should be a very, very good matchup. And especially if it's North Muskegon, almost identical records, identical MPR, North Muskegon playing a little bit tougher, or not a little bit, a much tougher schedule. But Emmett Lingman, he is the X factor for that Central Montcalm team.
Indeed. And if Lakeview wants a chance, they're going to have to find ways to get on base against either Bracy or Emmett Lingman. Find a way to get on base no matter what. Final baseball bracket for you here before we flip over to softball. 108. This has White Cloud in it in Division 4. Wide open bracket. I will say that right straight up. Muskegon Catholic, Central Baldwin on the top. White Cloud and Holton there on the bottom. These are all teams that have been up and down right now based on MPR, based on strength of schedule overall. Muskegon Catholic Central is probably the one you're looking at. Yeah, this is the team. Don't know a lot about Baldwin this year. They've had a lot of cancellation of games. Don't know a lot of information about them. But for White Cloud, they're the most tested. They have the best strength of schedule out of these four teams. So they are made for this moment, right? Playing against a lot of the teams, right? Obviously playing against Central Montcalm, I just mentioned a minute ago. A lot of their teams on the resume. So for White Cloud, that's only going to help them. They get through Holton. They can get to Catholic Central. It doesn't seem as too high of a mountain to climb compared to what it says on paper in the numbers.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you have a spectrum of teams in the CSAA baseball side. White Cloud, they're a team, they get an advantage by playing in the CSAA, where Big Rapids, those teams, before the conferences were split, they didn't have as big of an advantage or an advantage at all because they were playing teams that are mostly smaller than them outside of Newaygo and Grant. But yeah, like you said, White Cloud's got a great chance at winning this bracket. You have Holton in the first round. That's a good draw for them. Baldwin, Muskegon Catholic Central. Muskegon Catholic Central, I think, advances in that one easily. But if White Cloud's able to beat Holton, it's not that too high of a mountain to climb, like you said.
Absolutely. So there are the baseball brackets. Before we get into the softball brackets, big thanks to Eagle Village. If you want a job that fulfills a personal mission and that can maximize your potential, they're hiring all sorts of needs, and they obviously do a lot of great things for the community. You can find out more, eaglevillage.org, Eagle Village, where potential source. Let's get into softball now. We'll start with 35. This is the one that Grant is representing in the conference. You see, obviously, Oak Ridge, Fremont there, as well as Orchard Butte and Whitehall. I'll tell you what, you're looking at Grant against Fremont. Very interesting matchup to start off. Two 23-win teams so far from what we've gathered, at least information-wise. This is going to be just a slugfest. These teams, I believe, Jack, you mentioned to me, have already played before. Fremont got the victory. So for Grant, revenge time. Round two, let's get after it. Let's make some changes and let's get the W this time.
Yeah, most definitely. Only one game. It was a 6-1 win for Fremont. They got going and they did it very well against a great Grant team. But if you're looking across it all, you got Whitehall, Muskegon Orchardview obviously is the team that's the lesser team in this district at a 4-16 record. They've lost to every other team in the district, excuse me. But Fremont, they got the win. They split with Whitehall. They lost to Muskegon Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge comes in definitely being the powerhouse. They haven't lost to a team in this district either. But if you're looking at the other side, District 34, the winner of that's going to play the District of 35. Gaylord has Aubrey Jones, pitcher committed to Oklahoma State, potential player of the year candidate. That's going to be a tough matchup going into regional semifinals. But keeping it focused on District 35, Grant Fremont, very interesting first round matchup, like you said. Identical record except for that Fremont tie versus Big Rapids. But Muskegon Oak Ridge, they don't have the record compared to the other teams, but they swept Fremont, they swept Orchardview, and they swept Whitehall. Very interesting and intriguing district for those top three teams. Oak Ridge, Fremont, and Grant.
Three-headed monster for sure. They're out of 35. Let's flip over to 36, which is ironically matched up and paired, mirrored wise with 33. Don't know how the numbers add up, but bear with us. We're just the messengers. Big Rapids, Tri-County representing out of the conference here. Big Rapids, right? Obviously a team that's going to have a little bit more of a hill to climb compared to last year in this regional or in this district round. But the good news is the strength of teams around them has also went down. So it is still as winnable. You got Shepherd in there, obviously a team to watch with 20 wins this year. Belding competes in a very tough conference. They're in the OK. And then Alma's a team that they've played years and years and years. They know very, very well lacrosse sports. So, but Tri-County in round one, very, very good for favorable matchup there for Big Rapids to get to that final on Saturday afternoon. And then they'll just wait to see what team gets hot. Is it Shepherd or is it Belding? Or maybe it's even Alma that pulls off a Cinderella upset. Either of those matchups, I think Big Rapids could have a lot of confidence the way they've really had that success over the last couple of years, especially in conference play, trying to get it back over into the postseason and see if they can march on this year.
Yeah, most definitely. In the Big Rapids softball terms, it's a down year, but you have a great chance at winning this district. Like you said, I don't know how they match up with District 33, but it's going to be interesting, especially if you see a team like Elma somehow win this district and they're going to have to play Sault Ste. Marie. That's I mean, we're just here to watch, but it's a very interesting district, most definitely. Like you said, Big Rapids playing with a lot of teams on a down year. Shepherd obviously has the best record. None of these teams have matched up outside of Big Rapids and Tri-County. Big Rapids 4-0 versus Tri-County, who doesn't have a win this season. But yeah, if Big Rapids can get to that Saturday afternoon finale in the district, it's gonna be a good matchup for Big Rapids. They'll either have Belding, Shepherd, or Elma. If Shepherd can get past Elma, they'll have Belding, and then that should Shepherd and Big Rapids. That should be an interesting matchup if that one is the one that calls it in the district.
Will be fun to watch indeed. We'll see how Big Rapids' bats can stay consistent in the tournament. That can really take them a long way, similar to how Grant really can do and has used so far this regular season. Let's flip over now into 70. Elephant in the room. Clare is the best team in Division 3, right? This is the team to watch out of our area right now, but Reed City has a very good chance, right? Playing Farwell, right? Reed City haven't had the wins this year. Farwell has struggled as well, and we obviously saw what the boys were able to do on the baseball diamond on Tuesday. Can that momentum swing over into that early Saturday game for the softball team? We'll wait and see. Obviously, Clare is waiting for Everett and Harrison. They have a very favorable matchup, either or, and then obviously in the next round still too. But for Reed City's sake, I mean, hey, anything can be possible. And this Clare team, right, is very good on paper. They can do it in all three facets, offense, defense, and obviously pitching. But for Reed City, what do you have to lose? You're going to be throwing your best arm, likely waiting for that game two, assuming you can get by Farwell, and you just got to see what happens.
Yeah, most definitely. You talk about Clare, the best team in Division 3. Guess what? You have the third best team in your district as well. If any of you watch hockey, it was a very similar thing to Detroit Catholic Central and Heartland. Those were the 1 and 2 best hockey schools in the entire state. They ended up matching up in their regional, and it ended up being the regional first round matchup for those two teams who both had state title aspirations. But Clare and Everett, that is a huge matchup in your district. District 70, Everett coming in at 26-4, Clare 32-1. Clare's been talked about as one of the best teams in softball. regardless of divisions, and they are a dominant team. They smoked Farwell, they smoked Harrison, haven't played Everett yet, and also haven't played Reed City, who's most likely to win that game versus Farwell. But Everett and Clare, you're looking at potentially even a state championship game in District 70 this early in the season, or this early in playoffs, which is a beautiful thing.
I don't know, Jack. It's not fair, right? It's a shame that these two teams have to play first round. And I feel like I neglected the fact that Everett has won 26 games again this year after being a state champion. I mean, how about a rebuild and a reload? Not even a rebuild, it's just a reload. They're bringing it back. I cannot wait to potentially see that game unfold in a district semifinal round. Pretty much a shame the fact that we're still talking about it as a semifinal round. Let's go over into the next bracket, which would be 74 as I look at my screen. 74 has Kent City, Newaygo representing in those two. I think the biggest thing out of this district, right? You obviously see Ravenna there with a 28 win record. I mean, them going against Newaygo in round one. Whoo, that's a heck of a matchup. Just like we were talking about, North Muskegon is one also against Kent City, right? Kent City's been a good team this year, especially for what that coaching staff has done. Those players have done this year, 20 wins plus. But North Muskegon's a team, although we don't know a lot about them, right? Obviously, the records, you haven't had all their games entered in. They're still a very good school at being able to produce playoff bound teams. So don't overlook them. It's going to be a fun matchup for both of these CSAA teams in round one.
Yeah, most definitely. We talked about them on the baseball side and how good they've been on baseball. We don't have as much information on their softball team, but Kent City, Newaygo, Ravenna. Ravenna is the fourth best team in Division 3. That's going to be a tall task for this Newaygo team, who's really had a great season compared to their last couple of seasons. And this is, if Newaygo goes out in this first round, it's just going to be tough draw to go out in the playoffs this early. But Ravenna is an amazing, amazing ball club. They swept Newaygo, a 14-0 and 13-0 win. They swept North Muskegon with a 15-0 and 13-0 win. There's nothing much to say except for this Ravenna team is amazing.
They're very good. Newaygo, third time, hopefully is the charm for the Lions. We'll have to wait and see. District 75, which is a full conference bracket. Of course, the whole CSAA in both divisions. You got Morley, Stanwood, Lakeview, Central Montcalm, and Chip Hills, all in those representatives. The Mohawks against the Wildcats again. Then you got the Hornets and the Warriors battling. So I think this will be a very fun one. Morley, Stanwood, I think, is the team, right, that is favored out of this district on paper. We've seen what they can do, especially from the bats perspective. They can get some runs across the board, and they do a great job of holding teams to low as well. I think that'll be interesting to see how Lakeview tries to counter that if they go an ultra-aggressive strategy, maybe throw their ace right out of the gate to try to get that win. And then obviously on the other side, you got two fundamentally good teams, Central Montcalm and Chip Hills, that have proven that they can beat those big teams and play with those big teams, but have also, stumbled a little bit, fell to some lower teams as far as their resume is concerned. So that really could be a coin flip based on what we've seen overall this year. But this will be a very exciting district to watch, not only for conference teams, but for very similar conference teams in the way they've played and the way they've had success this year.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of similar teams, but I think the outlier here is Morley Stanwood. 9-1 versus teams in this district, I should say, the district champion, or not district champion, conference champion. Their only loss coming against Central Montcalm in a one-run game, but Morley Stanwood a 24-9 record, excuse me. They have the best record, and then second place at Central Montcalm with a 17-13. Chip Hill is not far behind them, though, with a 15-17 record. That's a very interesting matchup, that Central Montcalm, Chip Hills. If you want a team that's going to beat Morley Stanwood, Lakeview, who's played Morley Stanwood 5 times this year, would be the sixth matchup on Saturday. If you want a team that's going to beat and knock down this Morley Stanwood team, you have Lakeview, who's playing Morley Stanwood for a sixth time. You have Central Montcalm and Chip Hills, who have both already played Morley Stanwood. If Morley Stanwood's going to go down, they got the district that might just take them down with so many familiar faces.
Sometimes that's all it needs is familiarity in these postseason environments, and we'll see how this one plays out. Final softball bracket for you, District 108 out of Division 4. That is White Cloud, of course. You got Pentwater, Holton, Marion still alive. We saw an early matchup already. Mason County Eastern goes down to White Cloud. So the Indians notch win number 1 after what was a little bit of a semi-concerning first game against Mason County Eastern when they played the first time, right? A high-scoring affair. They took care of them game 2, and now game 3. So we're going to see how they do against Pentwater, a team that we don't know a ton about overall. They've played very competitively against Marion based on those cross-strength of schedules and overall resumes. But Holton is definitely the power out of this district, the team to watch. They have proven it time and time again on the softball diamond. They can be a force to be reckoned with, the Red Devils. So we'll be watching them, especially against how they're going to do against Marion. But overall, I think if you are in White Cloud's shoes, you got to be very excited. You have a really good chance to play a Holton team and go to that district championship Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, most definitely. Got to get past Pentwater first. But I think when it comes down at the end of the day, softball Division 4 is one of the most interesting divisions across all of sports because it's really anything can happen. There's not a whole lot of amazing teams, but there's a lot of teams that sit around the same thing. I mean, you see it in Division 4 and a bunch of other sports, but especially in softball. Pentwater, not a whole lot of information on. They split with Marion, like we said, or you said, the 3-11 record for as far as we know. Who knows what their record could be? They could be 11-11. They don't have the 8 games in. But Holton, they're definitely the top dog, 21-14. They've played competitive games. They played 35 games, winning a great percentage of their games. White Cloud 8-21. They struggled at the beginning of the year, but definitely stacked some wins toward that mid to end part of the season. That if White Cloud is a team that gets hot, who knows? They could be sent with a district championship at District 108.
It'll be very exciting indeed. And that is all 12 brackets for you here, the bracket breakdown here on the rundown. We appreciate you all tuning in. Good luck to all of these teams as you're listening to this on the radio. They're actually probably playing right now in that district championship team. So good luck to them. We'll have obviously all of the scores to recap on BigRapidsDailyNews.com. There on the side column where you find the game recaps and results all season long. And big thanks goes out to Dazos Digital. Target your target audience with the experts at DazosDigital.com. You can visit that website for more information. Jack, we've done it. We have done it. We hope we get one more episode in. We hope the conference advances. I think there's a pretty good shot we'll have one more episode here next week.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that Big Rapids could in baseball. I think they could in softball too. I think we might be looking at maybe a Grant advancing in baseball. Maybe they might even advance in softball. Who knows? But we definitely have some interesting matchups coming up.
This is going to be a great softball and baseball finale. You can find out more information, as we mentioned, BigRapidsDailyNews.com. For Jack, for Brandon, sayonara. We'll see you later. This has been an episode of The Rundown here on News Radio WBRN.